Hey guys, Romie here, so please like, comment, subscribe. This is The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 9, Episode 21, The Reunion Part 1. Again, my name is Romie. Please like, comment, subscribe. I guess this was an entry into the foolishness, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. We're going to start off on congratulating all the women for looking good. And now I know that sounds weird, but you know in the reunions how some people just like, no. All of them look great to me. Cynthia had the big hair. She loves her some big hair. Blue dress looks great. Cynthia, I expect her to always look great. Come on now. Candy got the slick long hair back. I said, okay, look at Candy. Kenya has some brown highlights in her hair. Has a cut shorter. I believe gold dress. So I said, that's cool. Oh. It's interesting how Candy and Phaedra are sitting close to Andy, and Candy does bring that up that for 8 years I never sat right next to you, which means that I must have been one of the people with some of the most drama on the show for me to be sitting that close to you. I said yes, that's exactly what that means. Congratulations, because I think last year it might have been Kenya. Now on the other side we have, of course, Portia, who has the short bob, kind of like the Holly Berry bob. I said, look at Portia. Portia looks good. I expect Portia to look good. Phaedra, I was like, okay, look at Phaedra. Phaedra and the girls are out. I said, look at them. Look at them. And then Sheree, she has short hair. She looks good. So we're down with the pleasantries. Now, it starts off with, hey, how y'all doing? How's everything going? Everything's going great, Andy. Now, we started with something kind of odd. It starts with the sexual stuff. So we talk about the yoni egg, and we talk about the vaginal rejuvenation that Cynthia had, and the camel toe. As we know, Phaedra was really, really interested in the camel toe. That's what she cared about the most. She was always pointing it out, and everyone's chuckling, like, camel toe, that's a no. Why would you be, that doesn't make any sense, Phaedra. Now, Andy's trying to figure out, Cynthia, how come you felt like you needed to invite all of the girls to, when you wanted to get your breasts done? She said, look, they've seen it multiple times. Let's just be real, Andy. And at the end of the day, I figured, why not? There they go. There. Anyway, and when they were talking about the vaginal rejuvenation, Cynthia said, no, Peter was close, but he didn't see it in Hawaii. I said, whoop. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. He was close, so that's good enough for me. Apparently, we find out that Candy got her boobs, I guess, lifted, if you will. And so she's like, look, they're either going to be perky or sagging, or they're going to be lifted up. Kenya saying that she did not get her boobs done. Andy said, Candy, I heard you correctly. You said 3 people got their boobs done. Kenya keeps repeating, nope. No, I did not. You said they were natural. Yes. So you're sticking by that. Yes. Are your boobs natural? Well, what did I say? You said they were natural. Then yes. I said, wait a minute now. Look, if those are Kenya's, who cares? Who cares? I don't care. Let's get off of it. Now, of course, people are going to think, oh, they're not. But who cares? That's something so small. Get over it. But shout out to Portia. Portia said, look, because Andy pointed out, I have to give it up to you black women. I don't think I've ever seen a cast of Real Housewives where none of the women really did anything to their face. And, maybe one or two talk about how they got some injections, but that's it. Portia said she tried the whole injection thing, her face couldn't move. And she has a job where she has to be expressive, this nation. So she couldn't do that anymore. But she did go and get the top of her nose kind of filled in so that it's straighter. I said, look, I expect Portia to be honest. So shout out to Portia. And I guess we have the count of almost everyone got something done. For some reason, I don't remember Sheree ever getting a boob job, but apparently she did. But that's not what's really important. That's not a huge deal. What is Chateau Sheree versus, Moore Manor. And as we know, Kenya, now I have to give it to Kenya, Kenya was hilarious when she was giving those one-liners. Chateau Thelma, Chateau She Can't Pay, Chateau, those on and on. So I had to give it to her, because that was funny. It was. And we can't pretend like it wasn't. Like, it was also... It's a legendary meme now where, not for Kenya, but Sheree, when Sheree's just like... Kenya's house is like... That's one of the best memes of all time. One of the best memes of all time. And it kind of brings up the fact that Kim was standing up for Sheree and saying, well, you know what? You're in her basement and you're doing this and that. And here's the thing. It's a basement. It's a basement. Most people's basements aren't finished. Period. So, it's not a big deal. Kenya needed to have some type of ammunition since Sheree came at her. So, fine. Fine. Candy put it out there like, I know I was down there too, so I was really glad when no one brought up the fact that I was down there too. It's interesting though, because Kenya does bring up the fact that she lives in the same neighborhood as Sheree, but she never sees any lights on over there. So now the question is Sheree living in her house? Short answer, Sheree saying, yeah, of course. Like, where else would I be living? I'm saying, okay. And then there's this dispute back and forth about contractors, who's paying contractors. Kenya saying she paid all her contractors. Sheree saying she paid all the ones she should have paid or that deserved to be paid. I said, hold up. Hold up. Is that why the other ones are allegedly suing? Is that what that actually means? Did the other ones not do what they were supposed to do and so no payment was issued? Is that what really happened? Because that's a different story than, oh, I didn't pay them because I didn't have any money. There's a huge difference. When Andy's just like, oh, you're like Donald Trump to Sheree. Like, you have things said, you did what you did. Because a lot of it was centered around the house. A lot of it was centered around the fact that a couple of things in Sheree's bedroom, the lighting fixtures, the bed, it was similar to Kenya's. And since they're both custom made, anyone with common sense knows that you have to do there is a general blueprint when things are custom made. It's like saying my car was custom made. Is your car still, for example, let's say my car, Murano. So is it still Nissan Murano? Yeah. At the end of the day, it's still going to look like all the rest of the Nissan Muranos on the road to a certain extent. Now, it having a certain customized body and rims and lights and all of that, but it's still a Nissan Murano. It's still a bed. If they went to the same place and got their bed taken care of, created, then that's what happens. The lighting fixtures. I'm sure Sheree was like, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. If it happened to be the same stuff, then they have similar tastes. Congratulations. They finally have something in common. Whoop-de-doo-da-day. Does anyone really care? No. No. And that's the issue. Well, that's part of the issue. I'm just trying to figure out, why is it that these ladies, there's always this back and forth about money and house. But it was interesting because Portia was saying that, you know what, you're going after Sheree, saying that, oh, she doesn't have the money, she can't do this and that, she can't live in her own home. But aren't you the same one that had those Africans go and pay for your house? And, well, no, not those Africans. African prince go and pay for your house. And I'm thinking, isn't this the same thing that Matt said? And normally I would say, oh, okay, Kenya. Can you say, no, the down payment was me, all this was me, self-made, forget what you heard? I'm trying to figure out, but Portia has lied before just to try and prove a fake point. And Matt has too, at least to a certain degree. So, I don't know. I don't know. Portia likes to hear some stuff from the streets, but does it all really matter? Does it? No, none of it does. We get to something at least pertaining to be somewhat positive, and it has to do with Phaedra. Phaedra with her whole, I'm gonna go and continue to be a great person mantra. How I'll do that? I'll go and do my charity stuff on the show. And it was initially when she got the girls together, the ladies together, in order to raise money for the funds that she needed for the camp for the, underprivileged kids. And they're all like, at the end of the day, of course we're going to go and help kids. Phaedra, it was interesting though, because there was this weird little rift, because apparently Candy was only quoted for $500 when I think she like donated at least $1,000 or something like that. And so Phaedra's was like, look, that was an oversight. That was my team. They caught it and they sent you the correct thing. She said, "Oh, really? Okay. Well, I have receipts. Oh, well, I have two. I have them too." I said, "Oh Lord, we're really doing this over charity." Okay. All right. Got it. This is how it's gonna be. Okay. And again, it's the whole mantra of regardless of what their personal relationship is, if we're gonna talk about charity and do things for the kids, then of course we're gonna make sure that we do that. And it's weird because Phaedra and Kenya, they came together during the camping trip, and to go from that to now we don't like each other, and when I say we, I mean now Phaedra has a problem with Kenya, now Phaedra has a problem with this, now Phaedra's talking about bringing this old information back up and putting a new spin on it in order to get us to feel like, oh yeah, remember when she did this, remember when she did that. Come on now. So apparently Kenya doesn't remember if she went and actually slept in the cabin. I'm like, alright, so she went to the Four Seasons, got it. It was a little interesting though, when he was like, well, people were commenting, including myself, I did say it. You can look at my video about that episode of, did Sheree give more than Kenya? And I said, it doesn't really matter because Kenya also donated time. Because Andy was saying, who's going to check me blue shirts more poppin' than, what is Kenya's hair care line? Whatever Kenya's hair care line, what was it, Curl Twirls? Or Twirl Curls or something like that. But Kenya said, well, at the end of the day, there was money that was given that wasn't shown. And I'm thinking, that is true. They showed us at the end all the extra money that people did give. So what are you really trying to say? And everyone caught it. They were like, but did she answer the question though? Does it really matter though? No, it doesn't. And that's the other issue. Listen to this. Yeah, and that's why I already discussed about the acknowledgement letter. It's just so dumb. For them to go from being finally cordial to now things blowing up. And here's my stance. I get it. I really do. Phaedra didn't like the party. Cynthia acknowledges, I didn't like the party either. But I knew that she wasn't coming from a bad place. Yes, we know that Kenya can be a little shady. And we know that she does things, and sometimes they're intentional, sometimes they're not. And they are negative or can be conceived as negative. But you cannot tell me that Kenya purposely wanted to hurt Cynthia and Phaedra by throwing them in a divorce party. Did I say from the get-go I would have done it? Heck no. Unless they asked, like, kind of over it, trying to move on, then that's a different story. But jumping the gun and doing something when it's something really important and pertaining to marriage, that's when I say nah. But people called Phaedra out on her mess. Like, so you prayed with this woman, and now you're trying to bring information that happened years ago, and almost kind of make it sound like you're blaming her for your marriage being ended. She said, no, I'm not, because I'm not that delusional. No. I know that wasn't the case. What I am saying is, her, when she was flirting with Apollo, that of course brought a huge wedge into our potential friendship. And I did forget that Phaedra and Kenya were okay at some point. I did forget that, because that's how the whole donkey booty versus, was it stallion booty or whatever videos came up, because they were cool. Once there were disagreements regarding the videos, then I believe it was Kenya went off to do her own, and I think Kenya got hers out to market first. Yeah, now it's all coming back to me, and that was part of the wedge in between their friendship. But Phaedra, really? How stupid do you think we have to be? At what side of the pillow do you think we had to wake up to think that we're going to go and say, oh yeah, Kenya was doing that intentionally to hurt you, and since you guys come from where you came from, she should have known better. She should have known better? No. This is when you say, I don't appreciate this. This is in bad taste. And did anyone catch when Andy was just like, well, yeah, you and your husband, right? It's like, yeah. Or something like, yeah, you're married. And it's like, yeah, is it married? I said, wait a minute. I thought you were getting a divorce. I thought that's what you said on the show. That's what I wanted to know. All of the dirt that came out, that's all I really wanted to know. And I didn't get any of that. and it irked me. It doesn't matter if Sheree threw her own divorce party, because Sheree did it on her time. So that's a moot point. That's a moot point. It's irrelevant. Phaedra saying that they don't run the same circles. Andy said, how do you not, Phaedra? So what do you call this we're in right now? So we're not in this right now? So, oh, you know what I'm talking about. No, yes we do. And that was just to prove the point that maybe you don't. Because every time that you talk about things, it don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, at least not on the show. And I'm trying, aside from charitable things, that's the only time we're in agreement. The only time. We move on, and we have this whole foolishness going on with... It starts off with me partially being on Portia's side, and then it switches over. I'm like, dang it, Portia, if you just stopped at A before you got to C, I was there with you at A, but somewhere around B, I said, I'm going to have to do a U-turn and exit, because this is not going the way I thought it would. Portia is upset and irritated because, as we do know, Kenya is an instigator. Now, I will give Portia this, absolutely. Kenya is a huge instigator, but we're going to stop that right now. We need to bring up the fact that, yes, Kenya didn't come up with that information out of the blue. Her so-called friend was the one that said, well, you know what? Portia wants to go and discuss her anger management, how's that going, and discuss it with the group to make people feel more comfortable and understand what's going on with her. That never happened! We know that never happened! Now we finally are at the reunion, and Portia is making excuses for her friend, because Portia decides, you know what? Instead of me going in on Phaedra, and I want all of the information to come back, I want to see it all come out, because we're not done yet. We are not done yet. We are not done yet. And it's just irking me. When Portia said, oh, well, you know, I had to talk with her and I had to let her know that, you know, there's certain things I expect from a friendship, and you go and say certain things, that's not cool. That's great and all, but now are we going to piggyback to the fact that you were in a huff with the others because they were asking, so how's it going? Because it was presented to them in a certain manner. Regardless of how messy Kenya is, it was still presented to her in a certain manner by someone who she thought she could potentially call friend. And now, that's the part that irked me. That's where I was like, dang it, Portia, we were right here. And then when Portia was saying, now, I did agree with Portia in that Kenya is a huge instigator. She's the type that will go up. And what was the point of her going towards Portia outside in the restaurant when, at the end of the day, that wasn't necessary, that wasn't needed. She was trying to leave. She was like the old Portia, something could have popped off. But the new Portia wasn't having that. And I said, you know, I respect that. I respect that immensely. The problem is that, and that's Kenya, because Kenya, Kenya's the woe is me type of person. She's always the victim. But Portia was trying to say, well, why is it that you guys always, no one ever supports me, and when I'm trying to do stuff and better myself, I said, hold up. This is in a group where you all go in at each other. Regardless of who was friends with each other or not on that stage, you all were laughing at each other, and I saw you when your so-called friends were kind of, someone was going in on them. So that was one thing. Second, Candy. I have to give it to Candy, because Candy did a lot for Portia. When Portia was going through the divorce, when Portia was trying to rebuild her career, trying to sing, trying to get more into entertainment, Candy was there all the way. For Celebrity Apprentice, Candy went and donated $5,000. She said, oh, you can't do something for charity? Oh, your charitable donations come with a price, your friendship comes with a price? I cannot be bought. I said, excuse me? Candy wanted to see you win, regardless of, and Candy was right. At the beginning of the season, you had no beefs and you had no issues. So why are you acting like that was never the case? Why are you acting like you guys weren't really cool, unless it was something different, you just didn't let her know, and then that's another situation. And why you keep going protecting your friend when your friend was the one who threw you out to dry? That makes no sense. I don't care what else I missed. Please leave a comment below regarding what I missed. But But that's all I wanted to talk about in part 1 because I need to see some real mess. We're talking about stuff we already know. I want to talk about the stuff that the ladies didn't really know, and I want to see some real reactions, not some cool, calm, cool, and collected. If you have a problem with that person, have a problem with that person, tell them, let it be known, stop trying to go and save face for that person in front of the others. Like, we're not doing that. So, I guess you can say my recap is Kenya, Portia, Phaedra, Candy, of course, Sheree, Cynthia, that's split right in the middle. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I forgot. I did want to acknowledge the fact that it irritates me that they keep saying Portia, Portia with the anger management. Look, there's nothing wrong with Portia going to therapy, because that's what it really is. Candy say, she ain't going no anger management. No, I'm sure it's not just anger management. I'm sure she just talks about her actual life and what things irritate her and possibly could get her to that point versus just traditional anger management. So yeah, I'll definitely give Candy that. But we do have to acknowledge the fact that Candy constantly says she's going to go and knock someone in the face, and a couple other girls are ready to go and scrap, but we don't focus on them when that's the situation. We don't focus on them when they say that. So I have to give Portia that as well, because that irks me. That always irks me. How are you going to go and point when, Lou, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. The difference is she got caught on camera. That's actually the only difference. Because we know about some stories about a couple of y'all in the past and popping off, finding some people that are pregnant. You name it.